we are back and we're in studios with a past guest, so Ophi. Sorry, I was about to say Sophie. We're with Ophi and Mr. Robert Rivers, right?
Yes.
And a special welcome back to Ophi. She was from season 25 to 27 in 2009 to 2010. So Ophi, let's do some catching up. What has been happening since you were last on Youth Flex?
Well, thank you guys for having me today. Since I left Youth Flex, I've graduated high school. After high school, I started my first job in 2011, and I worked at Grand Cayman Beach Suites as just a cashier. I decided I wanted to pursue my degree in hotel and tourism management, so I started my associates at ICCI, and then I did that, and I was awarded the Ministry of Tourism scholarship in 2013.
Congrats.
Thank you. To complete my bachelor's and my master's, and I just finished this year my bachelor's in travel and tourism, and now I'm interning with Robert and other Minds-inspired students at Dart Enterprise, and basically we're just doing a summer internship, and in September I'll be returning to London to start my master's in international management with finance.
Wow, you've been working hard, girl.
Yeah, so I've done a lot.
And I wish you good luck on everything else to come in the future.
Thank you.
So we heard that you are tasked with a spearheading project that is very near and dear to our hearts as Caymanians. Can you tell us about this project?
Well, Robert, Maya, who was another intern, she interned for a very short time. We were tasked with a Georgetown Revitalization project, and as you know, Georgetown is our capital, and it's filled with like historic buildings and sites. You know, you have a wonderful like waterfront view, and in town in the day it's full of like workers, employees walking around, and tourists coming off cruise ships. And in the night there's nothing, and everything is closed. So basically we kind of set out to do a revitalization to see why is it closed. So Robert, my employee, can explain.
Well, in order to figure out what we could do for this revitalization project, we took a number of different approaches. We first kind of looked at what Cayman, or what Georgetown specifically, was being advertised as. It was called things like diverse, full of Cayman kind. It was the culinary capital of the Caribbean, peaceful, and it was booming with music, art, and heritage.
Yeah.
And these are all very wonderful traits, but unfortunately our experience while we were working downtown for a week and a half is that we didn't really experience this.
Yeah.
The way it was advertised was, what was the wording? It was that when your ears weren't being filled with the sweet Caribbean sea, you heard the sweet music of the Caribbean. But we didn't hear a single piece of music while we were there.
Yeah.
So we just kind of took it upon ourselves to figure out what we could do to make these traits a reality instead of just a misconception. So we went out and we got surveys from arriving tourists off of the cruise ships, and also from the departing tourists, just to see what their plans for the day entailed and what they actually did for the day. And then we also got surveys from locals to see how much time they spent downtown, and if there was something that was affecting the amount of time they spent downtown, like availability of parking or things to do, lack of exhibition. So we got their input on that, and we also asked them what could we do to help boost Georgetown back up again. So then we got some really good feedback from the locals, and so thank you for all of those who have participated already. Then aside from that, we conducted, as Ophi was saying earlier, we did a walking audit analysis. That was just kind of basically getting a first-hand experience of how the pedestrian would experience and relate to the area. So we kind of created our own checklists. We separated the area into routes, and we took analytical notes on what we saw and how we experienced the place, so that we could then compile the walking audit results and the survey results, and then make our own recommendations about what could be done to implement in order to revitalize the Georgetown area.
Okay, that's a lot of things you guys decided to carry out. But I want to go back to the beginning. Like, you guys are doing this revitalization project, but how did this idea come up? Like, who said, we need to start to do something or make a change in Georgetown?
Well, basically, when we were hired, we were initially told that they had a project for us. And on our first day, they presented the Georgetown Revitalization Project and told us that, we would be creating this project just by ourselves from a younger, point of view and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This project has been kind of, I don't want to say this negatively or anything, I don't mean it that way, but it's kind of been knocked around from government to different agencies and stuff as well. So it's not new to us. They just wanted a fresh perspective from younger Caymanians too.
Yeah.
So that's how we got involved in it.
I think the topic of Georgetown and needing to be revitalized is something that's probably been spoken about for years now.
Yeah.
Because even I was telling you earlier before we were on our break, for my AS Geography investigation, one of them, there were so many, one of them was how new developments on the urban fringe have affected the land use within Georgetown. And before we even carried out the investigation, we had to look at why is it declining? And some of the reasons were pedestrianization, lack of parking, congestion. And I'm happy that there is a project that you guys are doing and looking into how we can solve it. And so what I want to know is, how can our Flex family, your Flex family, help you guys with this project?
I feel like you guys could help us by getting out the word that we've actually created a local survey that is online. So the same surveys that we've been handing out to people, we are now distributing it on the internet. So like on Facebook. So it's on the Minds Inspired Facebook page.
Okay. And with this survey, you're going to tell me some of the stuff that we'd see on the survey.
Well, on the survey, we just for general demographics, we just want to know, the age range of the person answering the survey.
Yeah.
And then we also would ask things like, how much of your leisure time do you spend in Georgetown? A lot of people have said a few times a year. Some have said weekly. So we just kind of want to know. And then we also want to know from that what affects the amount of time that you spend downtown. Is it because you can't find parking, or it's too congested, or what have you?
Yeah.
And then just the most important part, I think, is getting your feedback in terms of what we can do to make it be a place that people want to spend time in.
Yeah, I honestly, from my perspective, I think that parking is a big issue, because the amount of time you drive around in a circle just trying to find one park is actually ridiculous. And I'm a new driver, so that was one frustrating thing for me.
And we left an other box, so if you have it's just a multiple choice, so if you click more than one, but if you have other ideas that we haven't listed there, we would appreciate if you guys really filled it out.
Absolutely.
People have been filling out shading and public seating. They want a park and fountains and
that
really
would
nice
be really
stuff.
nice. Yes, because I feel it's great that Georgetown is our CBD and we have a lot of business there, but I feel like there has to be a point where you can have leisure activities, just sit down at a park or on a bench, and I just feel like it's not there. People just go to town and leave.
Yeah. And all the other ideas that we're getting, they're really helping us with creating our recommendation list that we're going to present next week, Tuesday. So,
and who will this be presented to?
There'll be a number of big seats from DART there as well. Miss Jackie Doak is she's actually the one who kind of spearheaded this project and gave it to Kofi and myself. So she'll be there, and we'll have some members from the planning department and government there as well, along with other stakeholders in Georgetown.
Okay. And if there are any listeners out there that feel like they want to join in on this conversation, the number to call is 1-800-534-8255. And to continue on with our conversation, so I asked you what can the Flex family do, and you said we can do the survey online. That's also something that the general public can do.
Yeah.
But are there any other ways that the general public can do anything that they can do to help out with the project?
Well, I think things happen when people talk about it. So I just keep it in your mind, and just keep bouncing ideas off of each other. I mean, even if the ideas don't come to us, just get them to somebody so that we can really make this thing happen.
Okay. And before we continue on with this conversation, we'll be taking our second music break.
Our second song is This Is What You Came For by Rihanna and Calvin Harris.